told me this morning, stood me on my square, faced the east and then recite my prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and day and through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Amen. We should say amen. Amen. Everybody say amen. Amen. Brothers and sisters, I want to welcome you back to life, back to the Holy One that can make your next chapter your best chapter. Here we go. How could this be that you love the most unlovable part of me? We come to see the only thing in life we need is purity to be free. It's amazing with you. We win even if we lose. Everything's working for our good always. Allah save the day. He sent us through. He won't fail. That's not what superheroes do. No greater love make my heart beat. All I wanna do is make him proud of me. I just wanna love everybody like Allah. Love everybody like Allah. Love everybody like Allah. It comes to be. The Holy Covenant is how we practice creed. Under our fig tree, we've been redeemed. That's wisdom, will, and love is universal deed. This is heavenly. It's amazing with you. We win even if we lose. Everything's working for our good for always. Allah save the day. He sent us through. He won't fail. That's not what superheroes do. No greater love make my heart beat. All I wanna do is make him proud of me. I just wanna love everybody like Allah. Love everybody like Allah. Love everybody like Allah. I just wanna love everybody like True Ali. Love everybody like True Ali. Love everybody like True. Allah save the day. He sent us through. He won't fail. That's not what superheroes do. No greater love make my heart beat. All I wanna do is make him proud of me. I just wanna love everybody like Allah. Love everybody like Allah. Love everybody like Allah. I just wanna love everybody like True Ali. Love everybody like True Ali. Love everybody like True. Allah save the day. He sent us through. He won't fail. That's not what superheroes do. No greater love make my heart beat. All I wanna do is make him proud of me. I just wanna love everybody like Allah. Love everybody like Allah. Love everybody like Allah. I just wanna love everybody like Drew Ali. Love everybody like Drew Ali. Love everybody like Drew. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Thank you for that song. Happy Wellness Wednesday. First, I want to rise and give praise to the great God Allah. Honors to his holy and divine prophet. Honors to all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, etc. I give honors to the forerunner, Marcus Garvey. I give honors to all past leadership, known and unknown. All past Supreme Grand Advisors and moderators, Brother C. Kirkman Bey, Brother F. Nelson Bey, and Brother J. Blakely Bey. I give honors to the former Grand Sheik and moderator, Brother R. Love Ill. I give honors to the present Grand Sheik and moderator, Brother R. Jones Bey, and his assistant, Brother Hazim Hopkins Bey. I give honors to the Grand National Chairman, Brother P. Chase Hill, and his assistant. I give honors to the Grand National Mufti, Brother J. Fraser Bey, and his special staff. And I want to give honors to all Grand Governors and their assistants, all Grand Sheiks and their assistants. I give honors to the two flags combined, the American flag and the Moorish flag. Mm-hmm. And I want to give honors to our Grand Sheik at Branch Temple 11, Syracuse, New York, Brother S. Anna L. Bey, and our assistant, Brother C. Martin Stansel Ill, and their special staff. And I want to give honors to our Brother T. Ironsville in Temple 5 in St. Louis. And we give honors to all the Moors listening, you know, all the tillers of the soil, seekers after truth, all generous souls. And we give honors to all the literature and all the remedies brought by the holy and divine prophet. And I'm going to take a read from the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guiding of his father, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his father, God, Allah. I'm going to take a read from page 57, page 58, chapter 47. But I'm going to take a read from instruction 11 and 12. 12 and 13. Instruction 12 and 13, chapter 47. These holy and divine laws are from the prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they will learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I want to start by saying, like the Moors always say, you know, you got to empty your cup. So I want to do this is symbolic, of course. Woo! This is the T-Berry Bay, Elberry Bay cup, and we emptying it right now. We emptying our cup.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Welcome to another episode. And our co-host is Brother T. Irons Ill. I personally praise Allah and got honors to everything that my husband gave honors to. Please, Brother Irons Ill, take us into this beautiful demonstration and introduce yourself.
Islam, I want to begin by giving praise to Almighty God, Allah, the sovereign and source of peace and perfection. We thank Allah for his mercy. We thank Allah for his kindness. We thank him for his grace. We praise Almighty God, Allah, for thanking us with Prophet Noble Drew Ali, a man that came among us with a message to remind us that we are not Negro, black, and colored, but we are indeed descendants of Moroccans and born here in America with special talents and a special mission. We thank him for the leadership he left us. We thank him for our present Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, his magistrate, Brother R. Jones Bey, and his staff. We give honors to our Grand Sheik here in Subordinate Temple number 5 in the city of St. Louis, Brother T. Austin Hill and his staff. And I want to take this opportunity to give very special honors to our hosts of Sakara, Sacred Healing, the wonderful program that's been doing the work, sharing the message and the purpose of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We thank them for giving me the opportunity to be able to share what Allah has blessed with me on this platform.
Praise Allah.
So we thank you so very much for what you all are doing. We think what you are doing are necessary. It is good, and indeed it's definitely is healing, because most of our people today, if we don't need nothing else in the world, we need to be healed.
Praise
and
Allah.
Providing them with the opportunity to be able to hear the messages of Allah is the best of the healing source they could ever receive.
That's right.
We thank you all for this program. I think the topic that you had selected this evening in regards to log up and all events, indeed, that is indeed a true statement.
Mm-hmm.
Because law do governs all events. There's laws that govern the wind,
Mm-hmm.
law that govern the rain, that govern gravity. There's law that govern the production of food. There's law that govern the consumption of food, law that governs the production and the development of the human being. Law govern all events. And as Allah has revealed in the Quran, the Prophet Noble Ali, that Allah said that it's He who has instituted laws for the government of the world, and He's by their nature conforms to His will. We don't have the will to be able to fly. We don't have the will to be able to consume food, and the food don't go through the process that Allah has decreed. We don't have the will not to go through the transition of death. Indeed, we are slaves in that regard to Allah because of His laws. So laws definitely govern all events. And when we go back in history, we would discover and see that all the major prophets of Allah brought with the revelations laws, so that the community who they was been able to raise up would have rules and regulations for sustainability. Without laws, there's no order, there's no discipline, there's no sustainability for that nation. And without that law instruction in place, that nation or that community or that organization open the doors for infiltration and corruption. So law is very important for the discipline of the society.
That's right.
There's nothing that you could be able to see. There's no place in history where you see Allah raising prophets where they didn't bring the law. Moses brought the Torah with the Levitic law. Muhammad brought the Sharia. So there are laws, and Prophet Noble Ali gave us divine constitution and bylaws, and he instructed the leadership specifically to study it. You know, that you may be a good Moorish American by studying. Why? Because it is the law that gives the leadership the vision. It reminds them of the purpose.
Right.
It provides us with the discipline that we need so that the body can be able to understand the direction that we are going. And when we deviate from that path, we are deviating from that which Allah Himself had decreed the Prophet Noble Ali. So indeed, law governs all events.
Islam. Wow.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. Praise Allah. And you just covered our first keynote about law government, because you spoke about Allah brought laws to govern us, and you just you gave a full lesson on being governed. And going into our next keynote where you spoke about law, rules, and brings structure. I think you just broke that down.
Yeah, covered that
you
as well.
covered that so elegantly that I didn't have to say anything. And then you spoke about divine comes by law. Divineness, or I couldn't remember. I tried to take that note down. You were speaking and I was trying to write it in shorthand and I couldn't quite grab it. But you spoke about Moses, how he brought the tablets.
He just spoke about
it. Oh, you said that too? Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, Brother Ironzil, you are a weaver of words. And I appreciate you demonstrating about how law govern all events and how Allah has constituted this for us through our prophet. You know, bringing us these special. This is what keeps us in a bound of righteousness.
That's right.
It keeps us in a bound. Without law, then we are lost. So that's why you see all of this hate in the world and all this destruction upon us, because we're not living by laws.
Yes, ma'am.
What you
discipline. You know, there's sometimes a misconception about religion, and that's why Moorish science is so profound, because it really gives you the root, the root essence of what religion is. Religion is just self-discipline.
It is.
You know, it's about the governing of self. Those laws that govern all events, because our lives are made up of events. You know, and those events are governed by law.
They are.
You know,
they are governed by law. And I mean, wow.
Yeah.
By your demonstration, and why do you think a lot of us can't grasp how important it is to govern yourself? Obedience. Why is that?
Well, that goes back to your level of consciousness. You know, the where how you surrender. We first got to surrender ourselves. We got to surrender the heart. We have to surrender and be obedient so we can hear the instructions of Allah. If we don't get still and surrender ourselves to Allah, surrender the heart, we would not hear Allah. So Allah has given us the divine constitution, the bylaws, as the basis of our spiritual discipline. But what is it that constitutes that? What constitutes a divine constitution and bylaw if it's not your faith? If you don't have faith in an instrument, if you don't have faith in the document, know it to be true by you surrender yourselves to it. When you surrender yourselves to Allah and you surrender yourselves to the law, you will learn through practice that it is true. But if you don't have faith in it, it's just a piece of paper. And when you look at it and you conceptualize it in that context, then you become inconstant. And if you're in leadership position, then the policies that you make would be inconsistent. And if the policies that you make are inconsistent, then the people who's following you becomes inconsistent. So the whole community can be inconstant based upon our ability not to surrender ourselves to Allah by being obedient to the discipline of the laws. I would say, Sister Berry Bay, that it starts with us surrendering ourselves to Allah. Then we make it go.
Islam.
That's right.
You know, my husband and I discussed when we were structuring the show, Sakara Sacred Healing, how we would open up, because we know it's not formal. We don't have a charter up, which gives us the right to practice and promote. But if we're we're demonstrating chapter 25.
Right. Yeah.
And so I created this melodic flow, which my husband spoke about last week, where it's expressiveness. Is how I express myself, you know, but that is not the way that we open up in our meeting, of course. We stand and face the east, we stand on our square and put up our 7. But we never read the laws because it's not a formal meeting. And one thing he said, you know, I was like, well, what if we could read 1 or 2 laws? And he said to me, we can't hold this to someone who's not a member. These laws, because they're not going to understand what we are doing here. So we're trying to invite them and show them our structure, but we actually open up in prayer and we read laws.
Because one thing we want to do is we want to keep ourselves out front as Moorish American Muslims, but at the same time we want to be welcoming. So that's why Sakara Sacred Healing, we built off of chapter 25. You know, our holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. You know, that's our covenant, but our divine constitution and bylaws is really organizational. You know, for what the prophet set up for the Moorish Science Temple of America. But God, brother T. Zil.
Yes, but the tradition and the discipline provides an outlet for your kind of community engagement and social duties.
Right.
So you have an obligation based upon divine constitution bylaws to have an to engage in social duties. You know, so this platform provides the kind of avenue that what you are doing. You know, you providing a social responsibility. You're showing the community how we have a social responsibility to give you these lessons, to teach you these lessons, even though you might not join an organization. We are fulfilling that because our desire is to do good.
That's right.
Know? And as the rose breathes sweetness for its own nature, so the heart of a benevolent man provides good works. That's all. Those are our social desires.
That's right.
We're supposed to be providing these kind of platforms. We're supposed to be providing these kind of outlets, even though there are some among us that might not receive the word.
Right.
Where within the context of the laws and the legal provisions of the organization by adhering to what Noble Jew Ali instructed us to do. Us not providing these kind of outlets, to me, would be all the law. So we gotta be able to engage the community in these kind of process.
That's right. Praise Allah.
That's right. Yeah. Wow.
That pretty much answer your
Yeah, that did.
That's right.
You know, it's a blessing that we can even share the way we are sharing. I'm so humbly grateful for the opportunity, you know, to open up these ideas that come to us from Allah that we can share with the public, you know, bring them into our world and show how we are striving to live a righteous life, to striving for purity in life. You know,
Yes.
although we're not perfect, you know,
Yes.
Allah is leading
Yes.
on the victory is sure.
Yes. You could imagine what what noble Juali, the prophet of Allah, if he had access to this kind of technology in the 20s, what he would be doing.
That's
You
right.
know, I mean, he was advanced in the organization that way. Everybody didn't have a telephone, but he had one in the home office that people, you know, had access to. Everybody didn't have automobiles and transportation, but he did. So,
That's
you
right.
know, he would provide an outlet through establishing the Morse Guide as a communication system to teach our people. So you can imagine where he would be at in this day and age if we had the same technology that we got.
That's
You
right.
know, his platform be global.
That's right.
And so you all are definitely moving in the right direction to get the message out.
Praise Allah. I heard a song today by Bob Marley, and I caught this quote. He said, "As long as the laws of the land contradict the laws of God, I will be a rebel."
Oh,
And I'm like, wow, you know, we a rebel for the prophet. You know, we have to show how this works by the message that we bring. You know, we can't be a pointer, we can't be a block of wood.
Yes.
You know, and we pound this in and make it a part of every part. We become better citizens, better wives, better husbands, better children of society. You know?
Yeah. I remember when I first joined Brother T.I. and Zeal, the Moorish Scientific Love of America, people used to ask me, "Oh, what is the Moorish Scientific Love of America? And what is that?" You know, and I would try to put it in my words, right? And I would try to come up with all these different ways of expressing it to them. And they would say, "Oh, okay." But when I use the prophet's words, you know, when I said the object of our organization is to help in the great program of uplifting fallen humanity and teach those things necessary to make our members better citizens.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes.
Say that again.
They would like say that again. So sometimes the prophet said, you know, imitate, you know, he said something to the paraphrasing. I don't know if it was reported that he said, use my words and you can't go wrong. Something like that. You know, when you stick to the prophet, you know, you can't go wrong. You really can't.
You can't.
Yes, really that's can't. Right. That's right. You know, and that's the blessing that he gave us in regards to how the United States Constitution is set up. We think a lot that those contradictions, we would not run into those kind of contradictions where it put us in odds with the system, but we got to follow divine guidance. And so the prophet is training us through the laws how to operate in a free enterprise society. Even when he came and gave us the laws, and when he gave us even Act 6, where he instructed us that no law can be at variance with the laws of the national, state, or local level. So when you read Act 6 and they tell you you're not Negro, Black, and colored, that should trigger you that, you know, this is a legal name, it's unpracticed, because otherwise, how could he get this document approved by the government? So he understood.
Come on.
He understood that he was operating within the context of a free enterprise society. So forming the Moorish Science Temple of America, that is indeed a corporation that became a living entity in person, that has a head and a body. When you connect yourself to it, then you are indeed part of the same system. So you're not in contradiction with the state government or the federal government. But if there come a rule or regulations that they try to enforce upon us through our church with dictatorship, no, we're not bound by law to follow that, because we know what happens when we do that. You know, because we look back in history and we see that some of our brothers and sisters decided to kneel down and bow down and accept that way of life and strayed after those gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing and accepted that kind of life and didn't adhere to the laws of Allah and the Prophet. What happened? Slavery. You know? And at that time, it was told us that oppression is worse than death. So, you know, we rather die than disobey the principles that Noble Drew Ali has given us. Just kill us. before we make a decision that we're going to disavow what Noble Drew Ali telling us, and we know he telling us what's right.
Wow. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. Yes.
Wow.
That's what.
I mean, this is so full and impactful on the onset of this meeting that I don't know where to go with it, because you gave us so much that we need to marinate on. We need to really contemplate this, you know, these divine instructions or laws, bylaws, the divine constitution and bylaws.
One of the things T.I. and Zell, I try to practice when I speak to Moors, I always tell them, you know, introduce when brothers and sisters come into the temple, I think it's imperative that we introduce them to the prophet and then get out of the way.
Right.
I think too often do we stand in between the public and the prophet.
Right.
Because, you know, because that's when people will start following us. You know, and I always tell Moors, you know, my destiny is uncertain and unknown. Don't follow T-Berry Bay. Right. The prophet destiny is not uncertain or unknown. You know, so I think it's very important to introduce the people to the prophet and then move out of the way, because the prophet is the saving power. You know, he said, my sheep know the sound of my voice, you know, report it. So I think that's important too, that we don't spend too much time, because you know, our people, they as the instructions teach us, that our people we all need a pattern for our lives.
That's right.
We like to follow and not to lead. So knowing that about humanity, you gotta introduce them to the masters, and then see what let the masters work it out with them, you know, and then work it out with the master, you know, instead of, you know, removing the divine constitution and bylaws, and then make it our own personal demonstration.
Wow.
Yes, sir. But you know, so you're absolutely correct. That's why it's important on leadership. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali, when you look at the legal provisions, those strong discipline are on the heads of the leadership, and he instructs us to imitate I, because the people need an example. They're not strong. They don't have that kind of, you know, discipline. You need a light. You got to. Sometimes we have our people. We're in so much darkness. We got to be like that beacon light. You know what I mean? Beacon light to say, I could come out of this darkness because I see somebody doing it. You know,
right?
But in doing that, we should allow the prophet to be the eye in our life, not us.
Right.
The prophet be the eye. He said, I, the prophet, let me be the eye in your life. What do you mean by that? Let him be the vision. You know, let him be the guide in your life, and let the people see that. You know, the prophet knew we had imperfections and weaknesses. He said, don't show the people that. The people don't need to see that. You know, the people, they understand that part. They confess that part of you. Don't show them that. They need something symmetrical to that, different to that. Show them the goodness in you. Let them see that, so they can know His goodness in them. So their obligation is laid upon leadership in such a profound way to be disciplined, so that the people who do come in can know that they can obtain that same kind of salvation that they see somebody else practicing it. Then once we see that, then we guide them in that direction. We have to guide them in that direction.
Right.
We see this in Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was a human being. He was a man.
That's right.
You know, but we didn't never know. He don't know nothing about Noble Drew Ali's what he did, but anything he ever done, but some in the high. That's all we ever know. That don't mean he didn't wrestle with it. Look, he showed us that these things happen to messengers. We see that with Jesus. Jesus was saying to himself that he can deceive the world. Man, don't you know his mind? He talking to himself. He in the desert. He in the desert. He having a conversation with himself.
That's right.
You know, and himself is telling him, man, look at the world. You can have all this.
That's right.
These people think you God. You know, they think, man, these people think I'm God. I can have all this. What he's wrestling with at the time.
That's right.
The thought, the sin lies in the wish and the desire, not in the act.
That's right.
So Jesus is wrestling with this.
That's right.
You know, but he overcame those sins. He overcame that. He conquered that. He conquered that. And as a result, his friends saw him and they helped him through that.
That's right.
So leadership is very important in regards to being able to bring the people out of darkness into light. And that's the legal and the spiritual position that we must take as leaders in the Moorish Science Temple of America,
right.
so our people can understand that they can be saved.
That's right.
And our people are not gullible. They know once they know that somebody else can do something, and once Allah speak to them, they know how to make the proper decisions.
That's right.
Their eyes become open, and they say, "Oh, I'm not going down that way. I ain't following that." I hear you. You know.
That's right.
You know, when you mention the instruction, the sin lies in the wish and not in the act.
Wish and desire.
I mean, the wish and desire,
not in the act.
You know, that kept playing in my head as you were talking, because Allah is so merciful that He warned you. You wish it.
Yeah.
It's caused destruction.
Yes.
He didn't tell you about what happens if you act it out.
That's right. That's right.
That's deep.
Yes.
You know, He's letting you know, don't even wish that whatever people thought, or you know, don't do it because the act is worse than the wish itself.
Yeah.
I mean, once you commit the act, that means you already wished it.
Yeah. The act is an afterthought.
It's the afterthought. You're already in that lower self now.
He's showing you the root of it.
The root of the wish. That's what's going to get you in trouble.
Right. Yes.
Wow.
We trying to connect with Allah.
Right.
And Allah is in us. So Allah is telling us, if you wish it, I'm not going to open the door. You know, if you have a desire, you know, I'm not talking about the things that you do outside of what you're doing within yourself. You're dealing with me within. You're trying to get to me. You know, so you have, if don't nobody else, whether you do it behind closed doors or in front of somebody, I see it. It's the same to me.
That's right. That's right.
The same thing. Whether you do it openly or do it concealed, it's the same thing to me. I see it. You're trying to get to me. You know, so you have them wish, you're not going to get to me like that. You have those desires, I'm not going to open the door for you like that. I see you. I see what you're doing. And I see how you're trying to do it. So we got to try to govern. Man is not the body and the soul. He's the spirit and the part of Allah. We have to try to govern those things so Allah can open the door so our spiritual knowledge and understanding of ourselves can increase.
Wow. That's that spiritual eye. You know, he says his eye pierces the secrets.
Yes. Yes. He sees it. You know, Allah gave us a will to choose, but know whether or not we'll say right or wrong to the choice. He already knows. You know, He know what the Mari is. We don't know what the Mari is, but He do. You know, and He giving you the guide to be able to make it through to the next day if you would only follow His instructions. Them the ones He guides. So he has opened up. He said in the Quran, walk in the path which I have opened up for you. Walk in that path. I opened the path for you. Walk in it. Now it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy path. It's going to be a difficult path. It's going to be hard and complicated sometimes. He told you that.
That's right.
And he gave you the analogy of a soldier. You know, soldier got to be in tip-top shape. Ask one of them brothers that been to boot camp. or in war, you know, in war. You know what I'm saying? You know, or in war. You got to be ready for that. So he gave that analogy, so you know it's going to be a road you got to follow. But sometimes we get off that road and we create an additional path. Now we can create an alternative universe. People to do it on our own. You know, and we go straight, but just keep on down that path that Allah has opened before you, because if He put a difficult task on your road, it's because He know you need that strength for what's going to happen next in your life. And if you don't try to conquer it and govern it, then you're not going to be able to move forward with what I got planned for you in your life.
That's right. That's right. Praise Allah. That's right. Woo. And that's why we have to be careful with the knowledge that we take in. The Quran talks about he said the clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. And then I believe in a chapter on unity, it says He communicated to thee the principle of knowledge. And then we have the manner of His knowledge. The one that transcends our conception.
That's right.
So when one of the knowledges, He said, perish with us in the grave.
Right.
If I'm not correct, right?
Yeah, so
we gotta be we have to be careful of what we take in.
Yes.
As well when it comes to knowledge, because the clearest human knowledge, one thing I can tell you about it, I have a lot of it. It feels good.
Yeah.
It's feel good knowledge.
Yeah.
But most of it is folly, as the instructions say.
You say
it's folly. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It's got to be in compliance with the prophet purpose and mission. You know, that's what a real faith and wisdom comes from when you follow in that direction. You know, there's all kind of guidance in the world. But Noble Drew Ali has given us a special divine kind of guidance that we must follow. So yes, sir, you're right. You know, we gotta be careful about that. What we let in our heart, you know, what we let in our ears, we let in our inner self.
Right. Wow.
You know what I want to ask you, Brother T.I. and Zell? In our divine constitution and bylaws, you know, I've heard some say that in chapter 1, when it speaks about it, says the Grand Sheik and Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce law. I've heard some say that the Grand Sheik in here and the Chairman is the same person. I beg to differ. I see them as two separate people, but some say that it's the same person, the Chairman and the Grand Sheik and moderator. What you think? What's your take on that?
I think it was purposely made ambiguous, you know, like that, and open for interpretation, because there's time in history where we see one person holding both of those offices. I mean, that's not nothing unusual, because we see one person holding both of the offices today. Or you'll see two people holding an office. I think it's based upon the circumstances on how that needed to be interpreted at that time in history that allowed that, you know,
right.
and because if it wasn't, then the prophet would have, in my estimation, would have made himself the sole authority in the making and the force of the law, but he didn't.
Right.
Because he was not trying to make the organization charismatic or just left in one person's hand. Right. He wanted to kind of spread the power out so it could be balanced. Right. So he didn't make himself. He didn't even put himself in the front of the policy making position. He said, "I would help you in that." You know,
that's right.
Only if you would only, and that help can only come by his writings,
right?
His lectures, his teachings. You know, and that's why I was told to Muhammad that the pen of the scholars worth more than the blood of the marksman. So you got to study the teaching. You have to study the teachings of Prophet Noble Drew Ali to be able to get the proper guidance that you need when you in the Grand Sheik or the Chairman and the decision. Because ultimately the decisions that you make and what come out of that process is going to affect people's children.
Yes.
This is school. You know, it's going to affect their households.
Right.
It's going to affect their livelihood. They're going to be affected by that.
That's right.
You know, so you have to really study the prophet's teachings to get that kind of assistance. So I would say, Brother Barry Bay, that it depends on, I think it's left open for interpretation, and it depends on the circumstance whether or not one person would hold both those positions or whether or not those positions should be separated.
Praise Allah. Thank you for that, Brother Man.
Wow.
But I don't think it's solely just one person or two persons.
Got you.
I was thinking that, you know, there's enough work for everyone. And if you have enough people or members in your temple, allow them to work and unfold it to serve Allah. You know, the service for the Prophet and Allah.
Those are the circumstances.
Right.
Those depends on the circumstances.
Right.
Yes.
There have been times I had to be the Grand Sheik Secretary and the Treasurer at the same time.
I was about to say I was the Secretary and the Chairman before.
But when help come, then you relinquish that. You relinquish that. You know, you relinquish that help. You don't hold on to that, and you know you got somebody that can do that, and you hold on to it. What's the purpose behind that? What's the purpose of wanting that kind of authority? Why would you need it?
Right.
Why would you even want that kind of authority? Why would you need it? So, you know, if some come along, then spread it. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali did. Right. That's why he made Grand Sheiks and Chairmen and governors. He didn't leave it, you know, like he didn't leave it like that. He specifically made leadership. and empower the people, empower the Moors and gave Moors balance in the law. Only time in history where you seen, where you can imagine back as it relates to religious traditions, that how women in Eastern Islamic traditions were being left behind, left not in front in leadership position. In the Christian faith, our brothers and sisters who were sisters in the ministry could not be in a leadership position, but you had Noble Ali empowering women at the time in leadership position.
Yes.
You know, that because he understood that mind was just as valuable as any other mind that can be in position of authority that can assist in his mission and purpose of uplifting for all of humanity. So the interpretation of the document comes by way of us understanding the Prophet Noble Ali's teachings.
Wow.
Yes, and I have another question too about the divine constitution and bylaws. If my memory serves me correctly, this was once called the divine constitution and laws, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
Then it was changed. Wasn't there was a name change on this?
Yes, sir.
There was a name change. And it was added bylaws, right? I think bylaws was added, right?
Yes,
Why you think that they didn't leave it as divine constitution and laws?
Because when the document was entitled the Divine Constitution, it was under a civic organization. The organization was specifically speaking about civics, a civic society. That when he decided to want to change it to a religious corporation, all corporations have to have bylaws to show the government that they have rules and policies that govern them. You know, so he just added the bylaws as a document to show the state that we do have provisions that govern a corporation, and that's where the bylaws was connected to that document as a means of showing the government that the Moor Science of America do have bylaws as its rules, because states request that corporations have bylaws.
Okay. Praise Allah.
Wow. Praise Allah. You know, this is a beautiful demonstration today. We're speaking about laws, and we were heavy on that when we first came into the temple. All we used to say was we keep these laws out in front. But I wanted to go to Acts 7, where it speaks about all Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. Can we talk about that? They keep, and this is a law.
Yes,
it's a must.
Yes,
it says must.
Yes, yes, it's a law. It's a law. It's a law.
Amazing. Keep your hearts and minds pure with love is a law. If we think about that, and your body's clean with water. Wow. What do you think about that? Could you share?
I think he was censuring us to get rid of the hatred, because that's the purpose of the organization, to teach us how to learn to love instead of hate is one of the purposes of the organization, the mission of the organization. So what a better way than to teach the people to do that than to make it a legal provision, to make it a legal provision that you out of law if you don't, you know, censuring us to love, you know. And since love is a natural inclination for the human being, once you learn, it becomes natural. You don't have to be forced to do it no more.
That's right.
But in the beginning, you got to kind of force yourself to love, you know.
Yes.
And the prophet was forcing us to love each other.
Yes.
You know, to the point that once we get it, okay, I got it now. You know, I got it. I feel it. I know what I need to be doing now. You know, you keep your heart with that. Then once you do that, then keep your bodies clean with water. Stay clean. You know, we was made filthy, nasty, dirty people during the process of slavery. You know, and stay clean, stay disciplined, stay upright, be an example. And sister, Madam Chair of Supporting Tip number 5 also instructed us. Now, you know, that also mean inside, you know, with water. You know, make sure you're drinking the proper amount of water so that the system will stay clean.
That's right.
So you can stay healthy within. It's both an outside cleanliness, but it also is an inside cleanliness.
That's
So
right.
don't forget that too.
That inner
And
cleanness.
these things are given us to provide the discipline that we need coming from the areas that we were in. In my understanding.
Praise Allah.
Wow.
Praise Allah.
Praise
That's right.
Allah. Thank you
That's
for that
right.
demonstration. You
Mhm.
know, the Moors they all on fire with love and holy zeal. And you can
Mhm.
see those comments coming in, and they're speaking about, Allah is the greatest. And that's what we here to
Mhm.
foster the love that Allah is bringing to us.
That's right.
The incomprehensible, whatever you call it,
Yes.
many names.
Mhm.
Yes.
We don't circumscribe
Yes.
Creator.
Yes.
And so
Yes. That's right.
wow.
Yes.
And remember not
Yes.
to beat
Yes.
yourself up. Sometimes we can beat ourselves up because we're trying to be perfect. I can speak
Right.
for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm always
Yeah.
trying to cut away those ungainly parts, but I
Yes.
have to remind myself no judgment, no blame.
That's right.
You know,
That's right. That's
You
right.
know, you know, you have to go through all the ways of
you
life.
got to go through
Yes.
all the ways of
Yes.
life.
Mhm.
Yes.
All,
Yes.
all up.
In my estimation, the Lord don't have no attribute that He don't use. So if we all was perfect, He'll destroy us because He got to be merciful. He got to show His mercy. He wants to show His mercy. So all y'all perfect, I can't even be merciful to you all.
Right.
Away from you. Show me some people who make some mistakes.
That's right.
So I can be merciful.
That's right.
Yes, we all got. You can't ask the man to put on a white suit and walk through his jungle and don't get no dirt on him.
That's right.
You gotta go through. All of us got 1 foot in the junk pile. We're in no position to be, holding no more judgment over nobody but ourselves. I hope that the people that we encounter, that we shine some light to help them better their conditions, and the people that we see that can help us better ours.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when we do help one another in our struggles, we're really helping ourselves.
Yes, we are. As the rose breathes sweetest from his own nature.
That's right.
Yes, we help it. Yes, we help it ourselves. Because we help the Creator in us.
Mm-hmm.
What greater reward that we can have than the one that created the heavens and the earth, that created us? That's who we try to please. The one that owns all this here.
That's right.
When they're so powerful. When an electrician, when he got to go and when you're building a house, an electrician got to go to Home Depot and get the conduit to bring back, or the plumber got to go and get the pipes to come back to build a house, or the carpenter's got to go get his wood. He got to go somewhere to get the material.
Right.
Where's the material stored for the sun? Where's the material for the moon? A lot don't even know that. He just make it happen.
Right.
It comes. He got night and day over here in one system. In Alaska's a whole different system going on over there.
Right.
Why would you not want to serve a creator like that? Why would you not want to be? Why would you not want to try to be obedient? If you believe in your heart that it is Him that made and created you, and you believe in your heart that He caused the sun to rise and the sun to set, if you believe He caused the rain to come and cause food to produce, why not? Why come you don't fear His punishment? Why you don't fear none of that? Why you not trying to follow what He's telling you and you believe that?
That's right.
He's prevalent around us all the time. And He's giving us a guide to Prophet Noble Juali. If we follow it, we're gonna be all right, Lord.
Right. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. Praise Allah.
I mean,
yes,
Brother Berry, our cup is getting low.
yeah, we getting that nourishment.
We're getting that
That's
nourishment.
Right. That nourishment.
That uplifting nourishment.
That feast.
Yes. And it's a Wellness Wednesday. And when
yes, ma'am. Yeah. Wellness Wednesday.
Wellness Wednesday. I mean, we're receiving the nourishment, and we are pounding this in as much as we can. More take this information home with you. And
yes.
And our sister, she spoke. She said, she spoke about her weaknesses, and that's the first step. That's the most important step, when you can admit your weaknesses.
Yes.
And then you can share it with the public.
Yes.
Yes. So that's a beautiful demonstration that you shared.
Yes.
So don't, one step at a time.
Sincerity. I always tell them more when I, that was one of my favorite chapters. You know how you always have your favorite chapter. And sincerity was always my favorite chapter. But what I learned about myself in that chapter, I was applying the first half of sincerity was me.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I got to the second half, that was everybody else. The more I read it and the more I read it, I realized that it was all me.
Yes,
You know,
we all have that in us.
we all have
Every
that.
bit of it.
Even if
Yeah.
you're not practicing that way, you're capable of it.
Right.
So
Right.
you have to embody the whole chapter, and you have to
Right.
be honest with yourself and know that if you aren't doing these things and you haven't done these things, you're capable of them
You're capable.
because you
Right.
have a lower self.
That's
So I learned to embrace the whole chapter, because once you dismiss an instruction, you become it.
That's right.
Once you say that's not me,
That's
you
right.
become it in that
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
that's exactly who
Yes,
you
sir.
are.
That's right. That's right. Yes,
That's
sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
because in I forgot what chapter that is where it speaks about the ignorant and the wise. And I always say that you got to look at that as you.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about you. Teach
Yeah.
it to the ignorant for their
Yeah.
for
Unity. Know thyself.
know
I believe.
thyself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't remember it
Yeah.
verbatim.
Communicated to the ignorant for
So that's in the lesson of chapter of unity. Communicate to the wise for thy own improvement.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're talking about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at somebody else being the ignorant one and you be the wise one, then you failed in receiving, growing, receiving the wisdom. We don't know everything.
Right.
We don't know everything. So we are that ignorant and the wise.
Mm-hmm. And being ignorant is not a bad thing.
Right.
No.
It just means something you don't know.
Yeah.
Don't get stuck in knowing.
So when it comes to the man of his knowledge, we are all ignorant.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it transcends our conception.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
So you got the wise man feel his imperfections and is humble.
Humble. Yes.
Humble.
Yes.
You gotta be humble.
And sometimes you're gonna go through a situation that'll shake you to the core to bring you to your humbleness.
That's right.
That's when you meet Allah. I think that's what Allah wants you to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right.
You're off course, sister or brother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make you pay attention to your inner self. Go within yourself. But we're coming to a close. Mm-hmm. This was a really beautiful dialogue. We thank you so much.
I thank you all so very much for having me, sister and brother Barry Bay.
Yes,
it's an honor.
It is an honor to have you. We hope to have you back again. Would you give your closing words to the Moors, the advice on laws and how to govern themselves?
I will continue to pray to Allah that we all would have more humility, more discipline, more love in our heart to help Prophet Noble Jew Ali in his mission and purpose of uplifting for all of humanity, because we are suffering tremendously in America. The Moorish Science Temple of America indeed has the solution to this problem. And we just praying to Allah to make us stronger, to make us better Moorish Americans each day, so that we can follow his laws, become an example and a pattern to help humanity come out of the darkness. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Praise Allah.
Praise
you.
Allah.
And I second that motion. Sister Brownell said a part two. Sister F. Brownell. I second that motion, sister.
I second that motion as well. Thank you, Sister Brownell. We thank everyone for tuning in today and bringing your love and your light to this platform, supporting the movement of love, and trying to build ourselves. Just like the Moors or those sages did in Sakara Sacred Healing. They worked on building themselves up from their lower to their higher. You couldn't even enter into the temple unless you were thinking on a higher tone, a higher vibration. And when we come here, that's that vibration that we want to always feel.
Yes.
And that's what we feel here today. We really, really thank you.
Yes.
We thank you for your presence. I'll now make the announcements. You have some last words, Brother Barry?
No, I just want to give honor to T.I. and Zell. Like I said, I emptied my cup. It's full again. And I thank you for this feast. It was real nourishing.
Yes.
I give honor for that. Honor to you and honor to your temple.
Thank you all for having me.
Yeah. Yes. It was a beautiful demonstration here today, Moors, and we really appreciate you. We try to get everybody comments because it's just so wonderful.
And the moors are so meaningful.
Meaningful. You all mean something to us.
Yes.
We appreciate you. Okay, so I'm going to make those announcements. Please join us this Friday for our Holy Day meeting on our national page, More Science Temple of America, our national Facebook page, and on YouTube at 7:30 p.m. And then on Sunday, our national Facebook page, we have a Sunday school that starts at 2 p.m. Then we coming up on Monday. We have Girl Talk, Real Talk, Morris Talk. Please tune in to support our sisters. And then on Wednesday, we have Universal Love. Both shows at 7 p.m. We thank you for your continuous support and your love and participation. As my husband just said, you all mean something to us. You know, right. You touch our hearts with your messages. You are healing us as well. You know, this is not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. So praise Allah for His social duties. And big honors to you, Brother T. Ironsville, again, for your presence and your lesson. Please come back. We want to have a part 2 with you. we gotta prepare for that.
That's right.
That's right. So we'll meet again on a Wellness Wednesday in 2 weeks at the rise of the sun.
Peace on earth and goodwill to men.
Peace.